Welcome to Marnie's Friends. My name is Marnie Swedberg, and our guest today is Inseong Kim. We are going to be talking about hard but graceful conversations, and we'll be sharing a lot about how to have graceful conversations about those really tough life issues without further wounding wounded people, the role of compassion and what not to say, the connection between transhumanism, technocracy, communism, and abortion, how AI is shaping the way women make life decisions and why we need to care about that. We'll also be talking about how to understand the image of God and why this changes everything, how incomplete theology creates an open door for dangerous ideologies, why it doesn't matter who wins the AI race and what really does matter, how we as leaders can equip ourselves for this cultural moment, and also what we carry that no technology, ideology, or government can offer. That's all within the next 30 minutes. So grab a notebook and buckle up. Our guest today is Inseong Kim. She is a journalist, radio host, Bible teacher, artist, author, film, executive producer, entrepreneur, and speaker who opens women's eyes through grace conversations, powerful data analytics, and truth. You can learn more about her over at her own website, inseongkim.com, and also invite her to speak via womenspeakers.com. So excited to welcome you now. Welcome, Inseong.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Well, this conversation from you all just heard right now, we're going to cover so much ground and we aren't going to dive deep into anything. But I wanted you guys to get to know Inseong. She has a radio show. You can learn more as you go by. But it's so important for us to talk about this because these hard conversations have to be had. And what's happening a lot is that we're burying them. We step away, we walk away, we look away. Why are you so passionate about having these conversations?
Yeah, so from my life experience, I was having so much difficult times to come to today. And it took a long time for me to figure out what had happened to me and what is going on. So it began with my journey to understand what even happened. After my life experience of abortion, 25 years, I didn't know what was happening, but there was a symptom that I was noticing that something's wrong with me. So that's how my journey started. And then another 20 years been working on this, understanding uh, the whole spectrum of this abortion industry because I thought it was my personal problems and personal issue. But I learned that it's a lot to do with the politics and geopolitical issues that I learned later that it is important for all the people who are victimized by the abortion industry to understand what is going on because it's over 60 million, just America alone, 60 million, more than population affected by abortion industry without knowing, truly understanding what's going on underneath.
And I thought what was so interesting about what you proposed to talk about today was it's not just about abortion. It's about all of the conversations that we have that trigger people in going on and trying to hold a steady line with what scripture, what the Bible teaches, what God's heart is for us, and to
Yeah.
go forward. Now, just I know people can recognize you have a little bit of an accent. You were born and raised where?
South Korea?
And you came here in
Yeah, 1985, May of 1985.
Yeah. So as we go forward, this also plays into all of this. Your history matters so much and how you're able to see this maybe differently than some of us can who were born and raised here our whole lives. So I want us to begin this conversation with compassion and to remember. I did a study on this recently. And in the New Testament, Jesus is frequently said, it says, he saw the people, he had compassion on them, and he healed them.
Mhm.
But once Jesus was raised from the dead and went back to heaven, no one in the New Testament is ever described as being compassionate again. That term is never
Mm.
used for any of them. They call us
Oh.
to be compassionate, but it isn't
Mhm.
something that described them like it did Jesus. And I want us to come to this conversation with that in mind, that we are called, like Jesus, to be compassionate and to see people who are hurting, who are broken, who've believed lies, and to come to them out of compassion versus out of judgment, right?
Absolutely, because I was born in Christian family and my father is pastor, so I I didn't master the Christianity, but I know ins and out of every doctrines, every denomination. I visited different churches, and I think overall I found out how I grew up, especially in Asia. There's a Christianity came to Asia, plus their own cultural background, and top of it, the Christianity introduced. So there is a cultural background was there also how
Mhm.
I perceived about Christianity, because mainly how it preached was a sinner has to be repent. And that was the beginning entrance of the being a Christian.
Right.
And but I did not hear much about we are created in the image of God.
Mhm.
That wasn't really fully preached and taught.
Mhm.
So we more mainly the theology that we learn is where the sinner is so much focus on sinner. So I studied about New Testament. How many times Jesus used the word sinner, and how did he use
Mhm.
it? And whether believe it or not, he used only 7 to 8 times. He
Mhm.
never called broken, wounded sinner. He never labeled. That's interesting part.
Mhm.
So, and he used a sinner for Pharisees, Sadducees, all the religious
Right.
leaders.
That's just
And
it.
yeah, he used term sinner to those people, not the people who are abused or
We would have
wounded or broken.
probably called us sinner, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and but sometimes we are not being careful how you use that word
Mhm.
to yes, we are sinner, but it comes from us, not from other
Yeah,
people preach it at us. Does that make sense?
it does.
So yeah,
Mm.
that is the profound truth
Yeah.
that I found out that I wanted to share with a compassion, because
Mhm.
Jesus had a true compassion for those broken people, and he was a friend of people who are broken.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And I just love that he was defined by compassion. That was how he was defined.
Mhm.
We're going to touch just briefly on the connection between transhumanism, technocracy, communism, and abortion. Break this down for us as quickly as you can, and then
Mhm.
how are they connected?
Yeah, because I was so much focused on my healing and my issue, who was around me. I did not see any of this, what was happening. But I was always curious about why our public school is so focused on evolution and not even give a room for creation for a long time.
Mhm.
And we broke that wall. So we're still fighting in homeschool that we can teach the creation. But I learned the reason is the transhumanism was on the background. And without teaching the evolution, they cannot arrive to post-human,
Yeah.
which is the transhumanism is basically, in a nutshell, the belief that humans should be improved, enhanced, and redesigned through the technology. And it connects to abortion through the idea that life is only valuable when it meets standard perfection, health, and desirability, which is the final goal is post-human, they call it. So gene editing, all this abortion or gender issue, all is tied to the belief of this transhumanism belief is under background, but nobody really named the names. And following the transhumanism, technocracy, the system where the technical expert and data-driven system hold the governing power over human decisions. And it connects with, especially without the doctor's diagnosis or a prescription, people can use this technology to apply to their life and death situation. And that is what we are discovering our time. And even 5 years ago, probably we did not understand with the connection of the transhumanism, technocracy, all of that. And then real problem is the communism, the political ideology that subordinate the individual to collective and to the state. It connects to this abortion. We, as we well know, in China and Russia have been using that abortion with the state power. And unfortunately, that's what's happening in our America, that free country, that without understanding deeply. And so I had always questioned why some group of people were militant about promoting this abortion. I could not understand. And also, I always said that as a leader, as a king, why would they promote the killing their own people? And now I understand this transhumanism belief is in the political uh, realm, is posing to the people to promote to have a perfect utopia, that we are allowed only perfect people and then more and more enhanced human. And I would say we're using for vegetables and probably eventually using the animals and then eventually to the human. And that is their goal, that actually creating a GMO human, the perfect human can live for a long time. I don't know forever, but they want to live a long time in the perfect condition. So the abortion industry is a part of this picture that we didn't understand. So I hope that I knew this, what was going on, because when I had experience, the magazine was introduced, and a fetus was not a human, and to be human. So you have to make a decision before becoming human. That was the message that even to this day, after the Roe versus Wade is like 50 years ago, we're still preaching these messages, even though there are over 60 million people are aware of it. Once you hit 40 and 50, that when your own children is growing, you can really mentally connect the dots that what really had happened. That's why a lot of people cannot process this, because our brain is not formed to understand what actually physically happened as a mom. So we need a grace that rather than condemning people, using only political slogans, especially as a Christian, we only borrowing the political slogans that without understanding deeply that all the more than 60 million people, they can be grandmother, aunt. It's not those people, but it's all around us. And we need more compassion toward each other to understand cultural background, how we got here.
I like to keep in mind that the enemy is a liar. He is a deceiver. He's excellent at stealing, killing, and destroying the things that are valuable to God. And we have to keep that in mind, that the deceiver is very cunning in how he is bringing these things across. This does lead us to AI. And both you and I use AI. So don't panic. We're not going to tell you never touch it. But at the same time, AI is really changing the shape of things.
Yeah, the problem is we are misunderstanding AI. AI doesn't know, it's not all knowing. Depends on how you ask. Answer is different. You can change around your answer. You can be a control over the answer. But mainly when person sitting in front of a computer asking question, it will give you the already prescribed answer that it's programmed. So it's unfortunately people think is AI is and omnipresence and all-knowing, that is superpower that give you life answer when you are pregnant, and whether I should keep it or not. Those questions can be very dangerous because AI is not God. It will not give you the answer that is proper answer, knowing, first of all, doctors should answer it, because medical conditions that we don't know. It's a mainly we don't talk about when we talk about abortion. We don't talk about it's a woman's health is part of this decision. So the professional has to answer these questions. But or casually, the young people go to AI and ask those questions, and then technocracy is a part of the technology. We use the technology without doctors' professional opinion that give you opinion to what to do with your body, because you can make a decision, all the pre-programmed, because AI is a tool for technocracy based on transhumanism. So we'll give the people using the AI will mostly a direction they want to go, unless you ask like a broad medical question that you're aware of. And so at the end of the day, it is very dangerous asking AI for life and death questions. And we have to educate people.
I keep saying the one thing that AI will never do for us is check in with the Holy Spirit. It is never going to do that. That's our job. That's our responsibility. So I like to think of AI like a vehicle. I'm going to get into my vehicle. I'm going to tell the vehicle what to do and where to go.
Yeah.
And as soon as I would say, I think I'll just hop in the vehicle and say, where do we want to go? Yeah, we wouldn't do that. We would never do that with our vehicle, and we shouldn't do it with AI. It's important for us to stay in the driver's seat and to remember this is a tool. This is not a mini God. This is a tool. Talk to us about being created in the image of God and why that changes everything.
Yeah, because AI is not made in image of God. It's a mathematics, a binary mathematics to find through the algorithm answer that fit into the society, because whoever enter the data that it collects find the answer for us. So it's a large language model that people enter all kinds of data, and whoever loud voice, it will pop and it comes out. It's the statistics. So AI is not made in image of God, but we have to really preach for especially young generation. Older generation is educated from the traditional education. Right. So we have a brain is already formed. We have a pre-knowledge that we learned. So we can ask proper questions. But for the young people, don't have that basic training of the education that they've done, randomly asking questions, and the AI answered it without logic, without structure. They can be very dangerous in destroying of the cognitive brain that God created to understand who we are. And then we are created in the image of God. In that, there are so much rich knowledge that we have to understand, and that's what the parents has to be aware of it and give it when we give our children to AI to use it. Definitely very sophisticated and amazing computation skill, but nothing more than PowerPoints and that all the Excels and that we use the Word documents and all that, a little bit more advanced than the website. We have to tame it, not being tamed by AI.
Oh, I love that you said it that way. I have said from the very beginning, people say they want to train their AI. And I say the AI is training us. Yeah. I want you to be very clear about this. This is not just an innocent bystander that doesn't have motivations. There are motivations behind it that we can't see. And we need to be absolutely, and this kind of brings us to this next point about the theology. We need to be clear about what God says about things. Otherwise, we will be just swept away by this.
Okay, AI can write a full thesis of theology by itself. Yeah. And I kind of tested it and knows a lot about theology and has a lot of books, informations that written before by many numerous authors and theologians. So AI knows a lot about theology. And if we're not careful about this theology and properly educated, like I was, uh, born in Christian family, grew up in church environment all the time, but my theology wasn't solidly organized. That was my systematically organized. That was my uh, struggle in my personal life, and so that's why I went to seminary to understand and organize my theology. And it is not everybody can go to seminary too, but they have online programs too. I think it is important for us, especially in the theology of we are creating an image of God in life issues. These are not only for pastors. This knowledge need to be preached in the public and not just in the churches, but on everywhere. That everybody has to understand that we are loved and we are created in His image. So, incomplete theology means we're only focused on because you did this, this is that. You did abortion, you're changing the genders, you divorced. This whole cultural phenomena happened because of this transhumanism agenda for their goal. So it's breaking all the family units and an individual's identity to accomplish their goal, that we're not good enough, we're not perfect. So we have to make human perfect. That's their theology. That we have to preach the right theology, that we're complete in Christ.
Yes.
We're made in the image of God, and no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. Move along to the AI race. Most people have heard about this, that it's kind of they're rushing forward to see who's going to win the race with AI. But you say that doesn't really matter. What does matter?
Okay, we can just take it two parts. One part is we all know the globalism is happening. So whoever wins, when they use for the globalistic idea, then it does not matter who wins. It's going to be control is coming. And definitely their ideologies, we are going to be changed, which means something's going to happen to in us, and something that we have to understand what that means. And so, but in the current situations, what the AI race means is the more the intel that we have, we'll know what the other is doing so we can have a security and protections. So we have to see in the both side to spectrum, because China is allowed us to, I mean, that we are allowed China to have our data. It's open, but we don't get data from China. So in this race, and then whoever have advanced chip will have more data. And so we have to understand where we are at and what angle we are understanding AI, in the nationalistic standpoint of view or the globalism standpoint of view. And they both exist at the same time right now for us.
Hmm. And how can we equip ourselves then to go forward? How can we equip? Yeah.
Yeah, I think rather than just listening main media, fragmented information, everybody's busy surviving. So we don't have a lot of time to really sit down and digest what's happening.
Yeah.
So we just listen and take it, and we just kind of don't even have a time to process. And then we hear another news, and we just bombarded with the news after news. And so I think sometimes we have to sit back and rather than scrolling the phone, and wait a minute, what is really happening? And AI can be dangerous, but AI can be really useful to get the fact only. Don't ask for opinion, but give me the all historical data. Give me all the facts. And then human can make a decision according to the data, rather than like avoiding it. Oh, AI is dangerous, especially in the Christian world, and AI is like shunned. Like a movies industry was shunned, so we don't make a Christian movie, and then totally were taken by the secular movies, right? And so AI is the same way. It would depend on how we use it and be carefully use it. So I think as leaders, we have to know what AI is and what is transhuman is, what is the technocracy means, what is communism is shaping even the U.S. soil. If we don't know, then we don't. They call it the soft power. We don't even know what we are assimilating to. It just culturally, naturally, progressively, there were changes that we don't even what happened in 10 years ago, and then where we are today, which is totally cannot have a comparison of how we arrived today. So, perspective, a setback. I mean, I think the reason I was able to see better is probably I grew up in Korea till 20 years old and came here, so I can see both outside and within what is happening. So I think studying and understanding and not just taking someone's information as the truth.
Right.
So I think as a leader, equip other people to the congregations or who are around us to actually equip them to critically think what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I love this as our coming in for a landing point here. We carry something that is better than technology, ideology, or government. What do we carry?
Oh, we carry the Spirit of God.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And AI can never. And so the goal of the transhumanism is post-human, and post-human might be perfect and physically, mentally, or emotionally might be perfect, but don't have Spirit of God. And Bible clearly said that we're a temple of God. And so I think what the most important things that as a parent can do to children is preparing them to be a temple of God rather than built by AI.
I love that. I think of that verse. I can't think of the reference right now, but it talks about let your good deeds be shown to all men, and that it can even silence the naysayers because of the goodness God's goodness that flows through us. And I feel like that is honestly what we have to bring to the world is a spirit of love, life, light, compassion, grace, hope, peace. And these are things that everybody needs. And we can bring that. And I feel like this conversation is so important to have and to keep thinking about. You guys don't just tuck this away now and move on. Keep asking God to reveal to you, what's my next step? What am I supposed to do now? How can I proceed forward with the people in my life, speaking truth in love, but definitely speaking truth? You guys want to definitely go over and check out Inseong's website. It's inseong.com or kim.org, INSEONG, Kim, KIM.org. When they go over there, what are they going to find?
Oh, okay. They're going to find all the programs that I aired. I start with the more than 10 years pro-life program to share the compassion part for healing for post-abortive. That was 10 years. And after that program name was In His Love. And now I changed to Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow to educate our audiences for historical background. At the end of the day, I think the most important things that we have to do is, first of all, we have to know ourselves. We're created in the image of God. And also treat others to they are made in the image of God. I think everything stems from there, that when this demonic ideology invading our lives, we forget that we become assimilated a technocracy citizen rather than citizens of God.
Citizens of heaven living on earth. Absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been fast, but it's been really good. Thank you, Inseong.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And thanks, you guys, for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.